Hey, welcome back to, or maybe it's your first time visiting, my little channel called Assorted Rules. And this is my studio, otherwise known as my garage. I'm going to install some accessories today, so I'll take some occasional videos as I'm installing those. I've got a cup of coffee ready to go. My sister might recognize that cup. And let me show you around for a second. If this is your first time on my channel, this is our 2022 Ford Bronco WildTrak Sasquatch. And I bought it about a week ago or so. And I already had some accessories purchased for this Bronco. I had purchased a couple of other vehicles at our Ford dealership, and along with each one of those purchases comes 42,000 Ford points. I think they're called Ford points, I can't remember. And then those points translate into cash that you can spend at the Ford dealership, right? Doing service like oil changes and stuff like that, or buying accessories. So while we were waiting, because it was quite a long time that we had to wait for this, I did pick up a few accessories and I'm going to start installing them today. I actually already have one installed that I forgot to take video of. Sorry, but I did put this hood wind deflector on. Kind of helps to keep the bugs off the windshield, the splatter, and keep that front edge from getting stone chips and stuff. I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, the black material and everything, it goes really good with everything else that's on the Bronco. I'm just not sure I'm sold on the look of it. It is pretty big. Covers a nice large area. I guess that's good for protection, but it I don't want to say significantly, but it does change the look of the front end of this thing. So yeah, I'm gonna have to give that some thought. It is on there with the 3M two-sided tape, so it'll lift off there without too much problem. Yeah, other than that, we are going to install, and when I say we, I mean me and my cup of coffee. Today we're going to be installing the Ford. It's not made by Ford, but it's sold by Ford, so it's a Ford accessory. It's a storage container for the back of the Bronco. It's basically a big metal box, and there it is on the floor in a few different pieces. And that will come in handy for two reasons. You could have while you're cruising down the highway, if you get in an accident, whatever you might have in back here could become a projectile, right? Flopping around. So that helps to keep your goods secured in the back. Also, come summertime, when we take that top off, maybe install a soft top, I'm not sure, but in any case, even with a soft top, they're easy to cut into and steal stuff out of. So I like the idea of having the metal box in the back, and it seals up against the back door. When you close the door and lock it, then your stuff is safe in the back. And like I said, I will take some occasional videos while we're working through this. So come on along for the ride. Alright, pulling the last of these tie-down hooks out using my new Milwaukee fuel ratchet. This thing makes easy work out of it. It's all 4 of them. So the kit gives you new, longer bolts, and the way this works is all these metal pieces bolt together, and then the whole thing bolts down at each one of these locations. So there's no drilling, no wrecking any of your interior trim parts. It just gets bolted down in place of that, and the new top piece has 4 more of those hooks. I can show you that over here, so that if you do want to stretch a net over that or tie something in place on top of that, you can still do so. Looks like it'll be pretty easy going in and out, so let's keep going. Okay, so these instructions, they're not the best. They're basically just like a bunch of what do you call those? Hieroglyphics. And like the bolts and nuts and stuff aren't actually, there's nothing that shows their size. They just have drawing numbers on them. So I took the time to sort everything out. So I've got the washers, spacers, the wing bolts, the wing nuts, all that kind of stuff all sorted out, so I can kind of match them up to the pictures as I'm going along. I think that's the best I'm going to be able to do for now. And then there's some nice Bronco straps in there. Not sure what those are for yet, but we'll find out. So you can see how it's starting to come together. Here I got the bolts and the wing nuts on there, and then of course there's these holes in the bottom on those brackets, which are going to line back up with those in the floor, and that fits in there something like that. So those hooks, which I have right here, these hooks will get bolted back in place using the longer bolts that the kit comes with. And as everything kind of bolts together, you can see how if you do need to take it out, you're going to be able to do that just by removing these 8 screws again, and the whole thing should pull out in one piece. I think it's kind of cool, the engineering on this, the way it goes together. Everything seems to fit really good so far. I also think it's kind of cool that I got these accessories at basically free. Yeah, we all know there's no free lunch, right? But at no cost to me, other than buying cars out there. Like I said, I did buy 3 new cars out there in the last 3 years. My 21 Mustang GT, my 21 Ford Power Boost, and then this 22 Ford Bronco. And for each vehicle, I got 42,000 of those Ford points. So I still have quite a few of them to use. I think, if I remember right, there's some weird new math that you have to do, but for 42,000 points, it comes out to roughly around $250 cash that you can spend on the accessories or service. So it's kind of cool that that Ford does that. And we are just about done bolting down these hooks. I'll go around here with my Milwaukee and finish that. They give torque specs for all these. So I use the old school German method, torqued them all to gluten tight. So I'll be transparent and let you know that I missed a step. These drawings in here, they're just, they're black and white line drawings, and they have no depth to them. So the parts are really hard to pick out. So I missed putting this brace on each side. I got one in there already. This one is going to go on this side over here. I've got one of the carriage bolts back in, and you also have to put a big washer on the outside. Another item that's very hard to pick out in the instructions. And let me tell you, though, it's pretty difficult. I'm surprised at how difficult it is to line up all 4 of those holes. You got to really pull things around. And what I did here is I shoved this little spacer in here, and that kept it pretty well in line. It was real tough getting that bottom one in there, but after I put the spacer in there, the top one went in pretty good. So I got the nuts back on there with the flat washers, and then I gotta take those off and add that piece in the back. Then we can go to the top. I just found another little Easter egg on this thing. There's a little blue bucking Bronco right there. It comes on for a short while anyway. So I've got it all bolted in there, bolted down. Putting this part in was probably one of the more difficult endeavors. Would be a lot easier if you had a helper. I did not have a helper out here today, so what I did was I put that center bolt in there first, and that kind of gave me a pivot point to do these wing bolts. The 4 wing bolts on the sides. Still, it was hard to do, especially because on this side, you know, I'm not left-handed. All the bolts are tightened down to my torque spec, Guten tight, with 2 Ugga-Duggas. So that should be it. And I can show you what it looks like with this closed. It's got a nice seal there. It's not a perfect seal. I see there's a little bit of open gap right there. Another one over here on the side. So without the top on, you know, you're gonna get a little rain down in there, but otherwise it's a good anti-rattle seal if nothing else, right? Still holds, you know, all the same amount of cargo, I would say, in there. I don't think that really takes up maybe an inch on each side. That looks pretty good. And I think that's enough for this video. This is actually, I wanted to say, this is actually a Bushwacker product that is branded by Ford. I'm gonna wrap this one up, and I'll do another video for the back tailgate piece. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Like I always say, hit the like button if you like these kind of videos and you want me to do more of the bolt-on type mods. If you want to. Subscribe if you want to. As always, I don't really care if you subscribe or not. Do whatever you want to. And thanks for coming along today. Have a good day. Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention real quick. There's a 50-pound limit on this thing. It's not the greatest. Could use maybe a little support. But also mention these Bronco Velcro straps before. They aren't even listed in the parts manual, so it must be something that Ford throws in there. And the only thing I can figure out is that you would use them for, you know, strapping something on to here or on the sides as though it were some type of mole container. That's all I got. Now have a good day. Bye.